21 years ago today, Marvin Heemeyer would change the town of Granby, Colorado forever. Marvin Heemeyer and his armored Komatsu D355A plowed through the town of Granby, Colorado on June 4th, 2004 at 2:15 p.m. One way he came up with the money for building something this size and this cost was he owned a muffler shop in the town of Granby, Colorado, and a couple other business endeavors, which he sold and or failed, leading to him building this because of town politics and disagreements with zoning and sewage problems and so forth. Heemeyer constructed the Killdozer in his only shop. He sold his house, he sold everything, he just had a small shop that he built this in. He built the Killdozer over a period of about 18 months. He reinforced the bulldozer with 3-inch thick steel plating reinforced with concrete. Although he could not see, he had security cameras mounted at lots of points around the bulldozer with air compressors hooked up to it, making it so that if debris got on the camera, he could blow it off. Once he got locked in there, he was locked in. Nobody knows how he got in, but he got in there. Some of the defenses he had were two .50 caliber rifles mounted on the front and on the back. Heemeyer managed to demolish the Granby Town Hall, house of a former mayor, including several other buildings like the dough chef's concrete batch plant and his own shop. Why did he do this? Heemeyer, who was a reasonable man forced to do unreasonable things, felt since he was someone from out of town because he had just finished up his Air Force contract. I don't know what you call those, but a contract. Because he was from one of the Dakotas, I think it was North Dakota, he moved to Granby, started his shop, and the people there did not like that because Cody Dochef lost that property in the 80s during the savings and loans crisis. And then when he went to the auction to go buy that back, Heemeyer was there buying the property, which he bought. According to Heemeyer, Dochef and his partner Gus Harrison, I think, maybe, gave him a tongue lashing because he bought the property and stole it, air quotations, from him, which he technically did not do because of his poor business choices back in the 80s. So, because Marvin called the Granby Town Hall and the board the boys club, the good old boys club, because everybody that was there had a prominent role in Granby. There was one family that owned the biggest excavation company there. There was families like the Dochefs and multiple other families that could make Marvin leave. So there were multiple other things. The Lore Lodge does a lot better explaining and going into depth. But yeah, so this is my Lego Komatsu D355A with everything that Marvin did to it. So we got Marvin right here. And then we got the bulldozers. So, like I said, he put 3-inch thick steel plating reinforced with concrete in there. And he reinforced everything. Now, he actually tried to shoot at propane tanks with his .50 caliber. It's 50 cal. But because he didn't line up some of the flaps or some of the steel right, that rifle could not properly fire. He had a old RV AC unit to circulate air, and then he had a little 50 cal right there, in which the only person who died during that rampage was himself, because once the bulldozer got stuck in a hardware store's basement, he could not get out, and he decided to take his own life. So let's get this apart. So here's the interior of the bulldozer. So it would be a normal Komatsu D355A, but he severely modified it. So we got the 250 calibers right here and here. We got the computer screen, because he would have had multiple other monitors, but since this is limited space, I used what I could. And yeah, so he had cameras on, like, by the tracks right there. He had cameras on the back, he had cameras on the top, he had cameras a lot of places. So I'll have to pop a picture up of what the interior would have actually looked like. But yeah, so this is all mounted, this was all done by himself. And it's a pretty crazy thing, because the police almost had to call in an Apache helicopter because this was so bad. They threw flashbangs down the exhaust, did nothing because this is literally a bulldozer. He didn't do anything that I know of to the roof. He basically just used this bulldozer to bulldoze the town, which was crazy. Because he also had a hit list back at his shop, and apparently the church was on there and a lot of other places that I could not tell you off the top of my head, but it was crazy. So, this happened 21 years ago, which is pretty crazy. One of the ways the police tried to stop him was to climb on the roof and find an entry point, which they did not find. They could not even get onto the side of the bulldozer because they believed that he put Vaseline or some type of oil to keep people from getting on the bulldozer. But one police officer did get on the top of it, tried to find an entry point, and couldn't find anything. And even the first place he tried to demolished was the Dochef's batch plant, to which they grabbed huge pieces of rebar and stuck it in the tracks to try and detrack it, which did not work. They tried to ram it with a humongous wheel loader, which did not work. They tried multiple things, which did not work. And so nobody knows how he got in, but the police, when they had to get him out of there, because once the rampage stopped and everything stopped and went quiet, they took the entire bulldozer apart and sent it to multiple different scrap yards to keep anyone from rebuilding it, in which they actually had to get a bunch of steel cutters and cut the roof off so that they could get everything out. It was a really crazy operation. They even had to call in the SWAT team. They were shooting 50 caliber rifles at the front of this. It did nothing, in which that entire thing was crazy. Heemeyer demolished the Sky High news building, which he believed talked bad about him, even though it seems like they really didn't. There's also a movie called Killdozer, or Tread, that is really interesting. It's about this. But anywho, he demolished buildings, he wrecked cars, but why wouldn't he have chosen something faster, like a wheel loader? Well, he wanted to get the point across that he was angry at the town. But did he really want to kill anybody? Probably not. You could have probably outran the bulldozer on foot, which just shows how slow it was, which gave people enough time to get away so that he could demolish everything and not be in fear, even though he was enraged about what the town pretty much did to him in his business. He still didn't want to hurt anybody. He just wanted to show the town what they have done to him and how he feels. But in the end, he ended up getting stuck in a hardware store's basement because he was trying to plow that down too. Got stuck. He ended his life, and the rest is history. I really do hope you guys enjoyed today's video. This was kind of an out of the blue video. I totally forgot that today was the 21st anniversary of the Killdozer incident in Granby, Colorado. So yeah, I hope you guys do like and subscribe, and if I'm lucky, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.